So it's taken me at least a decade to really come back to myself, sit with myself, and really look at who I am. And a huge piece of who I am and who I've always been is someone who loves style, fashion, sewing. Sewing has literally been my safe haven since I was maybe 6 years old. And it came from like a place of loneliness, a place of like not really having any other, I guess, stability, like emotional stability. Because for me, sewing, being able to like reinvent, recreate, to really alchemize like something that was one thing and then turn it into something even doper is something that really soothes my soul. Like when I tell you that sewing has been my safe space for my entire life, and to have gone through the dark night of the soul that I went through, where I literally had to put sewing down because I had no stability in anything, any place, any person. Like there was no real stability for me. And now that I'm able to come back to myself and really see like, whoa, like style is me. I am style. And to also understand that sewing, like when we're talking about healing and when we're talking about like stabilizing our nervous systems as Black women, because we are constantly under surveillance. And, to have to deal with these volatile environments, whether they be outright volatile or volatile underneath the surface in the energy of a space or what have you, I really think that sewing can really be a spiritual practice that can really bring us back to ourselves. It's an ancestral practice that could bring us back to our roots. Like, for me, it really fills my heart. It really fills me with joy and gratitude that I'm able to share this with you. Black woman to Black woman. This is part of our magic, our style. And I also feel like, when I was going through my dark night of the soul 10 years ago, the catalyst for it was, of course, seeing Dr. Joy DeGruy's video when she was talking about post-traumatic slave syndrome. And I remember feeling like I was in the sunken place. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, as Black women, like, we have no protection. We're so vulnerable out here. Like, how do we protect ourselves? Like, motherfuckers got guns, they got bombs, they got, they got police, they got armies, they got all this other stuff out here that they can point at us and that they have been pointing at us. We have to deal with, white women and white men and workplaces who have all these microaggressions towards us, and then they try to gaslight us and make us think like, oh no, like, it's just like, it's constant warfare wherever you turn. And it's just like, how the fuck do we protect ourselves? And at that point in my journey, it was like, okay, like, what the fuck do I do? How do I do this? Like, how do I protect myself? How do we protect ourselves, like, from this world? You know what I mean? And now, as I sit here at this point, I've realized, like, oh, this is why I had that revelation, because I'd been building this thing underneath the surface for so many years, and I didn't even realize what the fuck I was even doing. I was just doing it because, like, I like being by myself, and it made me feel safe because I lived in a volatile household. I was always in volatile households with abusive people and, people abusing other people and, throwing people out the house and, people having temper tantrums in the middle of the night and, just so many fucking volatile environments. And it's like, oh my goodness, like, sewing style, it's my protection. It's our protection. And then I started thinking, okay, and I have been really into wearable technology. I've really been into just like bridging these gaps between sensuality and just really understanding bodily autonomy. And for me, this is why I came here to this planet, because Black women need to understand that our style is our artillery in this constant spiritual warfare. It's a piece of our artillery. It's not all of it, but it's a very strong piece of artillery that I don't think we've been using to our benefit fully. Like, we haven't fully figured out the potential of how our style is like a shield and a sword towards our enemies, known and unknown out here when it comes to spiritual warfare. And that is where I'm taking this.